final inductees, the 1995-1996 Lemoyne men's basketball team.
96 men's basketball team returned Lemoyne College to the national stage. The Dolphins went 24-6, won the New England Collegiate Conference Championship, and were selected to the NCAA Championship for the first time in 8 years. Featuring two members of the Gold Wave Hall of Fame, Adam Stockwell and John Townsend, and coached by another, Scott Hicks, the Dolphins tied the program record for wins in a season with their 24, a mark previously set by the 1987-88 Hall of Fame team. The Dolphins went 16-4 in NECC action and 12-1 at home. In the NECC tournament, the Dolphins opened with a 76-73 home victory over UAlbany to advance to the Final Four at Franklin Pierce. The Dolphins handed back-to-back regional champion New Hampshire College an 81-68 defeat to advance to the championship game against Southern Connecticut State University. The Dolphins recorded a 77-73 victory over the Owls to claim their first NECC championship in their final season in the conference. In the NCAA championship, the Dolphins fell to Franklin Pierce in the first round. The 1995-96 Dolphins scored the 7th most points, made the 4th most field goals, recorded the 4th most steals, the 6th most assists, and recorded the 8th most rebounds in the program's history.
If I could call up their coach, Scott Hicks and Dave Ingram. Scott, if you don't mind introducing your team while you're up here. You knew him the best.
Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you.
Okay, we'll get one of those two. A team photo.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay?
I figured they'd all come up eventually.
Yeah, we'll get them up here. Thank you. So, Coach Steve Evans said I had 3 minutes. And I had to remind Steve that it wasn't just me getting in. I have 10 guys, so we got a half hour here. I'll be brief. First of all, congratulations to all the inductees today. It's a tremendous honor. And as members of this Hall of Fame, we wouldn't be here without the sacrifices of so many people. Our parents, our siblings, assistant coaches, athletic trainers, strength coaches, and also the flexibility of our professors to allow us to go on the road, to make up tests, make up papers. It was a team effort. Unlike the rest of our opponents, back then we were in the NECC. We would travel to New England, and we would play a game on Saturday afternoon. Our opponents would be scouting us. We'd play a second game on Sunday. So it's very tough to win on the road. It's tough to win out of region with New England officials. And it's tough to win 2 games, and we did it quite often. I was a very young head coach. So Lemoyne gave me the honor to start coaching here when I was 26. I played for Coach John Beeline, one of the best coaches in college basketball history. I learned a lot. I was not John Beeline. I worked for 2 other coaches who were very successful. But lucky for me, I had 2 great assistant coaches. I had Stevie Evans in the back. I've known Stevie. We were both kids together. His dad was a great coach. I needed help. I needed good assistant coaches. They were on the road. They recruited. They scouted. They were on the court. They helped make our players better. So I was lucky to have Steve and Gallagher Driscoll, who couldn't be here today. Yeah. Also, as we all know, you need great leadership to have a good team. I was lucky I had 2 great seniors. I had Danny Drews. Danny here in the front row. We had Adam Stockwell over at this table. Adam Stockwell was a bona fide player as a freshman. He was a great player. Could play a few different positions, fundamentally sound. Danny played behind some depth as a young guy. Came on as a senior, could score in the post, could score trailing. He made 19 consecutive threes. And what was nice for me hearing as a coach, and I was trying to cut some of this out of this to make it short, but we would play at University at Albany, which was a growing program. They had a great coach, Doc Sowers. And they said, I love your team. We just can't match up with Danny Drews. We can't guard the guy. He's got a jump hook. He runs the slowest down the court. Our center runs the paint. This kid just keeps shooting threes. And then another coach from Franklin Pierce, his name was Art Liptowski. And he pulled me aside. He goes, I got to tell you, I watch more tape on you guys. Not that we're worried about you. He goes, but I like watching Stockwell. I'm like, what do you like about Adam? He goes, he does 9 or 10 Pete Newell footwork moves in every game. He goes, it's just great. So for me as a coach saying, that's a great honor to hear about your players, that they're so skilled. Besides leadership, you need key ingredients from your team. We had great backcourt players. I'm just going to mention 3 of them. We had Brian Menard at this table. We had Robbie Atteen, and we had Dave Ingram. And I think what makes some teams special, you expect hard work, you expect commitment, you expect dedication, you hope for unselfishness, which sometimes you don't get. It's a long season. People have to make sacrifices. But for our team, I think it was the secret success, and it was built by the climate of these Jersey Philly guys who were a little different. I changed preseason. I said, we're going to get up and swim in the pool at 6 in the morning, thinking I'll save their legs, but I'll torture them a little bit, make them tougher. Well, the Jersey guys come off. They're going off the high dive. They're doing 2.5s. I'm saying this is like recess. We got to get out of the pool. But they changed the climate in practice, in the locker room. Most of these guys all live together, and it was just positive enthusiasm. Dave was a Division I transfer. I'm thinking, I don't know how he's going to fit in exactly. I was worried about him. He came in a pink tracker. And I didn't see him play live. I took the recommendation of Robbie Atteen. He came in my office with a very bad haircut. I was saying, I don't know about this guy. Luckily, he could play.
Watch it, Coach. I'm speaking.
I know. Luckily, Dave could play. But what made him special, he wanted to have just great teammates. And he wanted to win. And he didn't care if he started. He came off the bench his second year, and we were better for it. We also had Robbie Atteen. Robbie's from Philly. He always said, Philly guys play defense. You don't have to worry about he. Called Brian Nutt. You don't have to worry about me or Nutt. We will guard whoever. And they just changed the attitude. No matter who you were on the team, if you were a freshman, if you were a role player, if you weren't playing, you were loved because these guys said, you're going to love everybody. So it was great. Coach Cooney was a former player here and coach. He'd always come in my office, and I always learned a lot from Coach Cooney. He'd have this Brooklyn pickle soup. And we started the year tough. We had 2 guys hurt. We had Robbie was hurt, Atteen. John Hedges was from Shenandoah High School. He's not here today. He was a 6'8" junior. I didn't know if we'd be any good. And Coach Cooney said, what are you going to do? You've got maybe no Rob. You've got no Chief, which is Henches. I said, well, we got good guards. We got the Moyer brothers. They're tough. I said, but if we're going to be any good or win any games, it's going to if Tomsich can play. And if you saw John walk in, he's about 6'10". He was about 155 pounds as a freshman. And I remember seeing him in Solon, Ohio. It was about 11:30 at night. He was playing Team Michigan. His team was down by 40. I think he knew I was in the gym. There couldn't have been more than 2 people in there besides me. But Tomsich dove into the scores table down 40 when it didn't matter. And I said, this kid, I don't know if he'll be good, but he'll play hard. And what was neat about our dynamics when we put John in the starting lineup, he was unselfish like his teammates. He could also pass. And he made other people better. And a lot of other guys got open shots, which made us very hard to guard. I think our opponents, if they were watching us warm up, they would look over and think they're maybe playing one of the intramural teams. We weren't super athletic. We weren't super long. But usually after that first time out in the first half, they'd look up and we'd be up several points because these kids were disciplined and didn't make very many mistakes. I got a few other players that are here. We got Keith Moyer over here at this table. Keith played at Central Square. I was telling my son Jake, I was saying, Keith played in Germany. I said, when I first saw Keith, he wore these big baggy shorts like Michigan wore, cut-off shirt, skinny arms, and a headband. And I'm thinking, Central Square. This is preppy for Central Square. Keith Moore was one of the hardest working guys, and I was talking with Dave last night. He said, and I don't know what you're all going to say, Dave, but our guys in practice made everybody better, and it started with guys like Keith Moyer, who, and I told Vic, my other son, if I was ever in a barroom fight or there was trouble, I would want Keith and his brother Kevin behind me. Just pound for pound, two of the toughest, hardworking guys. So his brother Kevin couldn't be here today. Kevin also played baseball. And then a few other fellas are here. We have Bobby Kawa. We have Kurt Stroman. And who else am I missing? I guess David Langrel. He was a New Zealand boy that joined our team. But Kurt played here from Bishop Ludden, 6'5", played a couple positions, made everybody better. Bobby Kawa played at JD. His dad was a professor here in accounting, also played and coached here. And when I first put Bobby on the team, I'd never seen a guy take so many shots. So after about 2 weeks, I said, we have a new offense we're running for the second team. It's called 7 passes before we shoot. That way everybody got a chance to touch it before Bobby let it go. Lastly, I want to wrap up quickly, but I do have memories. This is 30 years ago. We had a good record going into our tournament. We were maybe the 3 seed, possibly. We played on a neutral court at Franklin Pierce. It was a snowstorm that weekend. We played New Hampshire College. It was a tough out for us. We won by 13. Played very well. I can't remember if I let the guys watch the second game, but the second game was the home team, Franklin Pierce, who beat us twice, playing a team from Southern Connecticut, who was unbelievably athletic. Southern Connecticut crushed Franklin Pierce. I think the kids went home, and thank God, because I'm going to be up all night. We're in trouble. So the next day, we played the championship game, and a couple funny things happened. First, I'm in the locker room. The guys are warming up, and I'm listening. They're playing John Denver and Johnny Cash as a nod to Lemoyne, who the Franklin Pierce guy was rooting for, because he got beat by 20. And then early in the first half, the score was like 16-6. And I think Robbie Attine was taking a foul shot. And I looked at Coach Evans on the bench, and I said, I don't want to press this team. They're just too damn athletic. But I signaled to either Brian Menard or Robbie. I said, 2-2-1 press. We got to press. So we set up the press. Robbie makes 2 foul shots. We trap him in the corner. We steal it. We hit a 3. They inbound it. They get it to half court. We trap. Reverse the ball. We hit a 3. They call timeout. Guys are jogging over. I'm looking at the score clock. 24-6. And I said to Coach Evans, we're the home team. That was a neutral court. We used to be in the visitors. And that guy didn't screw that up. Then we had this lead. We were hanging on. It got down to about 3 minutes. We had a loose ball. A team kicked it over to Dave Ingram in the corner. He nails a 3. Pips had these long strides, like these demonstrative strides. He's running back from the corner. Robbie Attine's backpedaling. They go to give each other a high five. They tangle their legs and they fall. Now there's like less than 2 minutes. I'm like, get up. You know, like they're laughing. I'm like, Pips, get up. Finally, we win. Game's over. I get a nice trophy. And literally, there was hardly anybody there. Dave said, you know how many people were there last night? I said, I don't know, 50? He said, there were 64 people. It was a massive snowstorm. So we played in front of, like, I know Teddy Kittle, Doc Joyner got there somehow. But the guys are all hugging, and I'm watching them. I think this is what's great about the team. Like, they're celebrating. And then Mr. and Mrs. Ingram came down. And Mrs. Ingram was right next to me, and I said to her, what a great win for the kids. And then, what a great game Dave had. And I'm like, by the way, where's Dave? And she goes, he's in the corner crying. I get choked up. Dave's in the corner crying. And I felt so damn happy, not only for you, but for our guys. It was just a special year. So I got lucky to coach great kids, and great players, great human beings. I wanted my boys, Jake and Luke, to be here today. I said, you got to meet these guys. So I've talked too much. Thank you very much.
glad you all got to see Coach Hicks' version of a 3-minute speech. So you can better understand why our 2-hour scheduled practices would turn into a 4-hour marathon match. I am going to take some time, though, and I first just want to say thank you to the Gold Wave Hall of Fame. On behalf of my teammates, this is truly an honor, and selfishly, this has just been such a great reason for these great group of men to reunite here on this campus. And for those of us that were blessed to go golfing yesterday, for me in real time, it was awe-inspiring to see the Lemoyne culture, the Lemoyne community in real time. And it wasn't just the alumni playing golf, like it was such a special treat for student athletes representing all of the sports here at Lemoyne, greeting us at the tee boxes and just hearing their stories and where they're from. And they had a genuine interest in us and our backstory. And this is a community. This is a family. And a fun fact I learned yesterday, Lemoyne men's lacrosse and Lemoyne men's basketball have combined to win 6 national championships. Keep up the great work, fellas. But if I bring you back, like, you can't make this up. Like, this is the part of the movie that if I saw it unfold, I'd say to my wife, I'm out of here. Like, this didn't happen. I'm not a big fiction guy, but 30 years ago to this day, our season hadn't begun. Practice hadn't started. And there is nobody that could have predicted what was about to unfold, including me being up here speaking. Like 30 years ago today, I was in this journey of spending 5 years pursuing a 4-year degree. And shout out to the person that created today's program, because you took a page out of my academic playbook. If I had to turn in an 8-page paper, I would have gone with the large font. So you student athletes, if you want to get a little words of wisdom from Uncle Pipper, I'll be here till tomorrow. But from a place of genuine gratitude, again, speaking on behalf of my teammates, Coach Hicks crafted this team. He built this team into this model of just tough, durable, hardworking guys. He instilled that belief in us. And looking back 30 years ago, he basically just built us into the same player he was when he donned the green and gold. And our assistant coaches, Coach Gallagher Driscoll, Coach Stevie Evans, you may not know this, but in 1995, Lemoyne men's assistant basketball coach was not the highest paying gig in America. These guys did it because they loved it. And they brought this enthusiasm to work every single day. And I know we tell these guys, but I really hope they understand, they kind of appreciate, we love them and we love playing for them. And this team was special. This team had it all. Shooters, defenders, rebounders, shot blockers. But ironically, it was the one thing that this team didn't have that made us so special. There was no ego. There was no ego on this team. I played a lot of basketball. I've been on a lot of teams. I've never been around a better group of guys that were so tight-knit. And when I think not having ego, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through the roster, but it began with our undisputable MVP, Adam Stockwell, a.k.a. Stock. Stock embodied one of my favorite quotes in life. Never let him spot the general by continuing to work like a soldier. And that was Stock. He was the best player on the team, but he was also the first guy at practice. He was the last one to leave, and he worked the hardest. And he checked his ego at the door every day he stepped on that court. Stock wasn't the big cheering, rah-rah type, and even if he was, our point guard wouldn't have heard him. Tell Rob what I just said. But Stock was the definition of a leader, a general. Same thing for Dan Drews, our other senior co-captain. You meet Drewsy off the court, He's just one of the nicest guys, this contagious smile and laughter and personality, but make no bones about it. When Druzy stepped on that court, he was there to take your soul. He was a sharpshooter. He was a marksman. And he was just ready, willing, and able to put another dagger in a team with a 3 down the stretch to help us secure yet another too close for comfort win. And you think our man in the middle, John Tomzig, a.k.a. Jitter. This was a 17-year-old kid that arrived on campus literally out of nowhere. Shout out to Mansfield, Ohio, wherever that is. But just Jitter showed up and fit in immediately. He became our go-to big man. He was our starting center, and this was a spot he never relinquished the rest of his storied career. And then our backcourt, Brian Minar, a.k.a. B-Nut. It didn't matter if we were in practice, if B-Nut was starting the game, if he was on the sidelines. He was there coaching us, encouraging us, leading us. The guy was a true leader. He was born to be a C-suite executive. And then our other guy in the backcourt, Robatine, a.k.a. Rob. Like, if there was a guy that ever deserved a nickname on planet Earth, it was Rob. But he's just Rob. And I love this man. I have known Robatine since elementary school. We have been basketball teammates since middle school. I'm 52 years old. I've never met a person that doesn't say they don't like Robatine except his opponents. Rob was a nasty lockdown defender with gargantuan-sized hands. I can encourage you to shake his hands. It's like a circus sideshow. And he just grinded these opponents down 94 feet at a time. And yet, with all of this firepower we had within the starting 5, zero ego. Partly because us guys coming off the bench were not about to allow that happen. Enter the B-team mafia. You have never seen a cast of misfits and role players and walk-ons that brought more joy to the court than us. I was the self-proclaimed ringleader of this coordinated chaos. We had some other players that couldn't be here. Danny Faulkner, David Langrel, John Henches, a.k.a. Chief Keith Moyer, and another member of the B-team squad, Kevin Moyer. So this was a kid, point guard, that showed up on campus as a freshman with 0 left hand. But through just sheer hard work, grit, determination, he eventually became a starter over his own storied career, went on to play several years professional basketball. And you talk about hardworking and grit. We also had a couple of members of the B-team mafia, Kurt Stroman, a.k.a. Tony Kukrut. The nicknames don't have to make sense to you. And the most incomparable nickname of all time, Bob Cowa, a.k.a. Bung. And these guys, these walk-ons, they showed up to every single practice. They ran every single wind sprint that we all had to. They never once complained about it, with no guarantee of ever getting any time during the games. This team was special. And it wasn't just the wins and the championships. This team, yes, we played together, but we lived together. We ate together. In our downtime, we hung out together. We went to class together. I distinctly remember taking a class with Adam Stockwell. He was an academic All-American. I finished in the half of the class that made the first half possible. Again, this team had it all. Coaches, starters, role players, walk-ons. But again, it was no ego. So it's only fitting that I stand here before you today and help welcome this squad into the Gold Wave Hall of Fame as a team. I love you, boys. Congratulations.